My name is Shomiron. I represent this company called NetMonastary. The agenda essentially is quick intro to NetMonastary. What do we do as a business? What issues we resolve, and why are we here? What's the bid? Right. So we are basically a 10-year-old company. We've been specializing in intrusion detection and analysis for the last 10 years. Our favorite pastime is go to customers, answer calls from customers when they have a compromise, and we deal with the situation, do the intrusion analysis, do the post-mortem, figure out how this attack happened, where it came from, who did it, how can we stop it, how can we get back, etc., etc. So that's been the core of the business for the last 10 years. We've been also building products with the money we made. We built 3 products, the third which we're going to talk about here. The first was intrusion detection and prevention system. The second we built was a very specialized product for the distributed denial of service space. And the third is CNAM. So let's get to the point. So CNAM is essentially a service which detects attacks in real time. My job is to identify attackers on customer networks, whether they are telecom networks, whether they are data networks, whether they are enterprise networks, whether they are home networks. So my job is to identify IP addresses, floods, or whatever other real malicious attacks that you get these days, and be able to notify the customer in real time. So we've got a lot of technologies available in this space. We've got intrusion detection, prevention systems, anti-malware, and other detection items that you have. But very soon, working with customers, you started to figure out that customers weren't really aware of what was the actual attack that hit them, right? So the knowledge of the real attacker, or the real source that has actually done the compromise. So let's say we're working on a incident handling case. We've been called in by a customer saying we've been hit. So once we go there, we have no clues. The customer has absolutely no clues of what hit them. So biggest challenge we figured for customers was the real information about the attacker that attacked. So starting with the IP address, what attack was it, how was it affected, how many days did it take for the attacker to compromise and break in, answers like these. So it made sense to do what we did in an automated manner and be able to provide this information to the customer in real time. So that's where we built this entire product. Of course, we decided not to sell it at the end, but run a service out of it, because the product became very complex, and for real results to come out, we needed to be able to work on the product on a continuous basis, optimize detection profiles on a continuous basis. So we rolled out a service called CNAM, and that's essentially what we do. So our job is to identify the attacker, bring out the IP address, flash it on the customer screen, send him an email, send him an SMS, give him a call, do whatever it takes to get his attention, and be able to mitigate that attack as it happens, right? So apart from these issues, what are the other challenges? Of course, mindset is a challenge which who needs monitoring is one challenge that we face on a continuous basis, but that's a sales challenge. What about the technical challenges? So let me just take you through a little more deeper into how we get this solution out and how we roll out this intelligence. So one of the most important ingredients of being able to detect attacks in real time is the knowledge, is the awareness of what's happening around you, right? So nearly 70% of our job is made that much more easier if we know what's happening at our neighbor's network, what's happening in the US, what's happening around the world, what are the trends that are flowing through. The trends is is one word that I'm going to keep using all the time. So building intelligence is very expensive, right? Because you need a lot of data. You need to cross-process 5 years of data at one time. That means a lot of hardware. Then the second big issue is it's great because a large enterprise or a telecom will invest in a lot of hardware, will invest in technology that will require that you require to process this information. But how do you scale this down to that one customer that is hosted on a shared or a multi-tenant server, right? So like scaling up is a challenge, scaling down is also a big challenge. Third, India is extremely price conscious. I mean, I can replace India and put the entire world at the moment is extremely price conscious. And fourth is, let's say cloud was a good answer for us, but how are we going to convince our customers to use the cloud? The biggest challenges in adoption of the cloud is security. I mean, when my customer puts some data onto the cloud, he talks about security all the time. So how are we going to be able to convince our customers saying hey, this is a good solution which uses the cloud and your data is still going to be secure, right? So for that, I'll just break up the solution. There isn't enough time for us to discuss the entire solution, but I'll try my best. So we need 3 components for the solution to work. These are all simple computer hardware, no fancy switches, etc., that we've been talking about all afternoon. First is the intrusion detection device, which has got which is an intrusion detection system which is available in the space. 2 and 3, the traffic anomaly engine, which detects floods and worms and malware traffic. That has been indigenously developed by us. And third is a worm detection unit, which is the WDE is what we call it. That is also our work, which uses collaborative information in real time to be able to detect outbreaks. So one of the biggest challenges that, again, every enterprise faces today is a worm outbreak. What happens if malware hits you and it hits you across the globe, and in 8 minutes a slammer spreads and you have nowhere to go. I mean, you have not even blinked in that time. So how are you able to prevent these kind of malware threats and be able to prevent these kind of infections? So that was one of the challenges that we worked upon. So the second device that we are talking about is the network aggregator, which essentially aggregates our data, our intelligence, and the customer's data. So we work with customer data like logs, like their applications, whatever other data sources that they have. We take all of that information in, process it with our intelligence, and are able to make an accurate judgment on who the attacker is right now. Third is the umbrella network. That's our melting pot. That's where we collect all the intelligence from our customers. That's where we fetch intelligence from third-party sources, and we are able to thread intelligence together and make meaningful sense for customers. So what does a general topology look like? You've got on the right of your screen, this is for the enterprise. So you have an enterprise network. Very simply, you need an intrusion detection system and a network aggregator on the enterprise side, and you need a unit, that's the umbrella network, on the center. So the umbrella network is outside the customer's premises. So let's call that the cloud infrastructure at the moment. That's the shared infrastructure. The intrusion detection device detects the attack. The network aggregator takes that information and also additionally combines it with data from applications and application servers, processes that. There is a correlation system that's sitting there that prioritizes events and is then able to talk to the umbrella network to get intelligence out. So that's the essential process. Now there are other organizations like organization 1 in the first circle, 2 and 3, which are also connected to the umbrella network and sharing intelligence. So it's like a blood relationship. You give blood, I give you blood. Intelligence of the same sort, you can't buy it with money. You give intelligence threads backwards, and therefore you get intelligence in return. So that's the concept we work on and the collaboration that we do. So the second challenge that we were talking about is the small enterprise network. How do we deal with a small enterprise network who's just got hosting one server but is extremely critical? In India, the price being a major factor, the customer will not want to invest in 2 other servers or 2 other infrastructure devices to monitor security. So we had to come up with a multi-tenancy infrastructure where we had to break up our existing solution and give parts away to different customers and be able to process their data in silos, right? So partitioning was one of the biggest challenges where partitioning, especially in a data warehouse situation, is extremely challenging by itself. So we did one of those, we played those cards to be able to, this is the shot of what the screen looks like. I've actually masked out some areas. So the USP. The USP is essentially we detect real attackers. We use intelligence to process this information. Intelligence is the main source. We integrate tightly with customer applications. So most of the times, a large number of attacks are not detected because the customer applications are not giving you enough information. So we need to work with the customer, tell them that, sir, you need to modify your application a little bit so that you give us this information and we'll be able to detect this attack for you. We come with our own kitchen, we get our own intrusion detection system, our own correlation engine, and we get our own intelligence base. We've got solutions for small enterprises as well. All right, so I'll come to the last slide. I can't name customers, being a security company, but these are the people we work for. 2 in 3 Indians, we protect your phone data. Credit data, we protect credit data of all banking Indians today. We protect corporate valuations for all public corporations today. 1 in 8 Indian, we are looking at your, watching your bank. And for 3 in 4 Americans, we are protecting your tax and filing information. Right, so that's it. Questions if you have any. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
A consulting story with a process design.
Right.
What we need to really focus on is the correlation engine that you spoke about, because that is where something beyond the process or service.
Right.
Just tell us
what is the actual innovation aspect was not clear.
Clear. Okay. So there are 2-3 aspects. Sorry.
So that you can answer all together due to time shortage. You talked about real challenge was in scaling down to a customer who may not be able to afford a dedicated system so that he could share. So you did warehousing and created sharing.
Right.
Did it lead to any compromise for that small customer?
Right. First question first. The correlation system, we have a very unique correlation system. Typical correlation systems are usually search-based. We figured that search-based correlations will not work here. Because we aggregate data at different layers. So for instance, the lowest layer is the network layer. A network is split into multiple zones, right? So you have a firewall which is splitting a network into multiple zones. You have assets on the same, on one side, which is IP addresses on the outside as well. So for instance, the IP address is netted from outside to inside. We've got the same asset. So where the network is network zone, you correlate the information on the network zone to be able to identify attacks on the network. The next layer is the device layer, where multiple devices are there, we are collecting information from multiple devices, and we are able to correlate that information with the network layer and the device layer. So like that, we've got 6 layers, the network layer, the device layer, the aggregator layer. Then you can have multiple aggregators in a site, right? So a high population site might have multiple aggregators. So we aggregate multiple aggregators and correlate that information across aggregators also. Then the fifth is the site layer, where or the group layer, where one organization can have multiple sites and you are correlating information across those sites. This is very important, where let's say you have a site in Chennai and you have a site in Delhi. You are seeing an attacker there as well as here, but two different teams are managing this. You don't have one single view, right? using this correlation system, you are able to correlate all that information across the globe and be able to tell that here there is an attacker which has multiple network penetrations or attempts right now, and therefore this is so much more serious. So that's I think one of our core innovations. The second innovation that we are talking about is in the outbreak area, where how are we able to detect outbreaks in quick time and be able to come back to the customer. We hash, packet hash each packets that enter the customer networks. Once we have a pattern on these hashes, and we aggregate these across customers and sample them. So once we start to find that a particular sample is on the increase, we quickly investigate that. There is a process in which signatures are made, alerts gone out to customers. These signatures just need to be put on their intrusion prevention systems, and you're safe from there. Sir, and the last question is that, yeah, sorry. Right. Scaling down, yeah. Okay, so compromises were involved, but we had to, so the compromises that were involved were, we were not able to look at real packet data for all these customers because there is multi-tenancy in those servers. I'm talking about the smallest servers. So if we are starting to monitor traffic for that particular server, we would be looking at other customers as well. So since we could not do that, we had to augment ourselves and change our model for that particular customer by looking at log data from there, right? So yeah, there are certain compromises, but there are certain other advantages which we wouldn't do for a full-fledged enterprise customer. Right, sir. Thank you.